Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to work on the covers for our book, and as you can see I've taken a little Tim Holtz clip and tied a piece of that pink that we had dyed in the first step. I'm going to use this for my closure. I tied it loosely because I'm still not sure exactly how fat the book is going to be, and I've just clipped it to the edge, and then on the back I've put a piece of score tape, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull the backing off of the score tape. And then I'm going to leave, like I said, I'm going to leave the clip fairly loose because I may need more length on it. And I'll just retie this when I know exactly how much space I need. We're going to start with the back. And in keeping with our theme of trying not to use too much paper, we're going to do a patchwork on the back of our album. So I had a fairly large sheet, all these little squares. I had a fairly large sheet that I had saved for the front cover, and then as it turns out, I didn't need it because I have decided on something else, which I'll show you in a little bit. But rather than use it on the back as is, I decided to do this patchwork pattern, which is a great way to use up small scraps. So if you don't have a big piece left on this or any other album, but you have small pieces, you can do something like this. So we're going to do it on a base and then glue the whole thing to the back. So this base is slightly larger than I need. It's 4.5, which is the exact width, but I cut it 6.5, and we should end up closer to 6, but I'm leaving myself a little leeway. This is actually the top row. I'm going to work this way. So these are all 1.5 inches square, and as you can see there are 12, so you need, and this is all from the same sheet of paper. I just flipped half of them over. If your front and back don't have enough contrast, then just go ahead and use 2 different papers. All right, and I've inked everything with the walnut stain, and now I'm going to glue them to this base piece. Starting to run out of glue in this bottle. I'm glad that we're finally, I think, coming into spring a little bit because it's time to stock up. Although I did pretty well getting through the winter with my glitter glue. I have enough left. You want to make sure that these get glued down well with not too many loose edges because it is the back of the book. Let me see. I'm going to slide these over. I want to make sure that you can see. And I do have them laid out, so I don't want to, oops, lose my layout. All right, there. Okay, so then I'm just going to put this one right up against the edge in this corner. And don't worry if it's a little off. I mean, if it looks a little rustic, a little off, that's just fine. But what I was saying is it's, you don't want things to catch on the back of the book when it's sitting on its back, so just make sure these are glued down well. And then I'm trying to pay attention to this actually has a bit of a direction, so I want to make sure that that's butted right up against the other one. You don't have to pay attention to the direction on your prints for this because it is supposed to be a scrap quilt kind of look, but if you do that where you're just going to put them in however they fall, try and make sure you don't have all but one facing one way because then it'll look like a mistake. trim this and trim to make sure it's square and I don't have anything excess hanging off. By excess hanging off, I mean the cardstock from the back. It doesn't matter if your print is hanging over the edge, that's fine. Alright, go, and then I'm just gonna re-ink where I've trimmed, in case I trimmed off any of it. It still feels a little damp from all that glue. That's a lot of glue. Okay, so let me show you. This is the front of the book. So you could put this on the front and then add some other things. I'm putting it on the back, and I'm going to put it high, and then I have a border piece that I'm going to put on the bottom. If you like, you could create your patchwork on a piece that's quite a bit bigger of another contrasting cardstock and then have a border of that cardstock showing, but I wanted to do it this way. Okay, that's really pretty. I like that. Okay, and then I have a piece here, and I haven't cut it yet, but I've got it over here. And this, I thought this looked a little bit like a fence almost, so I thought I would put that at the bottom. But let me just look, because there are a few other pretty borders on some of these papers. I just want to make sure that's the one I want to use. Okay, that's good. I like that. Now, if you wanted, you could put something wider across the bottom as a tuck spot. I'm not going to. I'm just going to put this. And then I may put a cut apart or something on top of our patchwork. We'll see. All right. That looks nice. So the effect here is sort of an old-fashioned garden. You know how they do the perfect even beds? You see it in formal gardens. So I kind of thought the fence here and the garden here was sort of the look I was going for, and I feel like I achieved it, so I'm happy. All right, so now let's flip our book over. We have the front and we have the spine, and I have this piece I'm going to use on the spine. So, because I think I can fit both of those flowers. So we need a piece 6.5 by 2 3/8. So let's see. Okay, there's that. That looks nice. And we may put a cut apart or something on the side. But for now, this will be the base anyway. And our covers are really going to be quite simple, because this, as I said just a few minutes ago, this is a working book, or it's meant to be a working book. Okay. I want to make sure I've got the top. That would be very sad if I put it on upside down. Okay. Nice. All right. Now, the top. What I'm going to do with the top is something actually quite simple. As I mentioned, I'm going to take this piece of craft and put it there. And then this cut apart here, like that, staggered, and then this beautiful circle right about there. Okay, so let me get those inked up. Okay, got these inked up. And I don't know what this mark is on my cover. It feels like a little bit of glue. Just trying to scrape that off with my fingernail. Okay, I think it's going to be covered anyway. I'm going to start with this. Oh, I should give you measurements. All right, so the cut aparts you have. This piece of craft was a piece of scrap. That's why I don't know what the measurement is. It's a 3 5/8 by a hair over 5 3/4. It's not imperative that you get it exactly this size. And if you're doing this, as a photo album or something like that, then by all means go whole hog by adding flowers and whatnot. And I may still add a few, but I'm leaning not. I really do feel like it's a book that would be best with a simple cover. I may put a few flowers inside though. I have room. I left myself room for embellishments. And then we're just going to put this one down in this corner. And one thing that would look nice, and I probably should have showed it to you before I glued this down, but I'll still show you. If you didn't feel like doing it this way, just this whole cover is a little bit sort of square and regimented between the two here, the patchwork on the back, everything here is kind of lined up. You could take one of these and put it angled like this, and then add some flowers and things and make it much more frou-frou than what I'm doing. It would be really pretty. And then this guy is going to be pretty much centered up there. Sorry, I keep pulling myself off camera. And we might add a few flowers or jewels or something just to give it a little more zip, but we'll see. Like I said, I really want it to be an actual working book that somebody could use as a garden journal. But that doesn't mean it can't be pretty. All right. Good. I'm happy with that. All right, so we've got the basics down of our covers. And we still have to do inserts. We have a lot of inserts left to do and embellishing. And I've started cutting out some of the cut aparts. And we have some more of the circles. These circles make nice tuck spots. Like for instance this, if I hadn't used this exact butterfly on the cover, I might put that there. But there are some more of these ovals, so we'll probably use one of those. All right, I am going to go and cut apart my cut aparts and then be right back. So I want to start with the little tags. Set this aside. And you have a couple of options with these tags. You have 3 options really. You can cut them apart, just cut all the way around, and just leave them as is and use them. The thing with Stamperia paper though is it's a little thin. so they're not super sturdy. So if you're going to back them, what you can do, you have two options. You can either just put a backing on and cut like right around the edge of the tag so there's no border of the backing, or you can leave a slight border. And there's two different methods for how to do that. So let me go ahead and show you that. Set those aside. So if you're going to leave a border, you want to go ahead and cut around the entire tag and ink it. Okay, then you're going to need your backing piece, and you want to cut the width of the backing piece to the width you want it to be. Right, so you're going to take the width of your tag plus however much of a reveal you want. And I cut my 2.5. Okay, so then you're going to take your glue. Remember, you've cut and inked this, so you're not going to get an opportunity to ink it again. And it doesn't really matter how tall this is, so just the width matters, as long as it's taller than the tag. So you want to center the tag, leaving as much at the bottom as you have on each side. I apologize if you're hearing noises. That is my kitten. She's playing in her little carrier. All right. Then you're going to take your small scissors and you're going to cut, fussy cut, along this upper decorative edge. I'm sorry, I'm pretty far away from myself to hold it under the camera. But just try to leave as much distance as you did on the sides. That. And you could neaten it up if you need to, like I do a little bit right there. That looks a little fat. There we go, and don't forget to round the bottom corners if your tags are rounded, which these are. Okay, so that's how you do that version. All right, now this version, so again, you're going to cut it the same way, the width of that you want it to be. Okay, you don't have to be you don't have to do the rounding of the bottom corners or cut any of the top. You just want to cut evenly along the sides of the tag. And this one, it looks like I left a little of the white, which is fine, you can. And actually, it doesn't matter, I'm just going to leave it. You don't have to ink this. This one's you're going to ink after. Right. Glue the whole thing. And you don't even have to worry about top to bottom. You just want to make sure it's centered side to side on the backing piece. All right, we're going to set this aside for a minute because this glue does need to be thoroughly dry before you do the cutting. Okay, so let me put my pin back in my glue. I'm going to let that dry. I'll be right back and show you how to cut it. All right, it's probably dry enough for us to cut. It still feels a little damp on the back, but I think it'll be all right. So now, and actually I just realized when I picked this up, what I should have done, and you should do, when you glue this tag, put one of these edges right up against the edge of the backing. That way you don't have to worry about cutting it. But that's all right, we'll still manage just fine. And now you're just going to cut through both layers all the way around the tag. And that's why this would have been easier if I had glued it right up against one of the edges, because then I wouldn't have to cut that edge. And don't worry if the first cut, I usually will not worry too much about being perfect on this first cut, because I really just want to get a lot of this excess paper out of the way to make it easier to cut it. pretty good. And remember that ink will hide a multitude of sins. Most of the time this is not how I do these. I usually do leave the little border, but if you don't like the little border or it just doesn't suit your particular paper that you're using, then you can do it this way. Let's see, that looks a little pointy right there. That's better. Okay, so that's how you do those. All right, and then let's look at the next thing that we have. There are these cut aparts that are very pretty on the backs, and I'm not doing anything to those, so I'm just going to use them as is. But there are 3 in this collection that just have this text on the back, which is fine, but I'm going to go ahead and map these. So what I've done for these is cut a piece of the green cardstock that's 5 3/4 by 4 1/4 and rounded the corners with my quarter rounder. And I did that. I rounded the corners on the, I'm cutting this one because I missed a corner. I rounded the corners on the cut apart, and also I cut a piece of craft cardstock the same size as the cut apart. That's going to go on the back. Inked everything. Did I ink this? I didn't. Ink that. Just going to glue these. Very easy. Now, one thing to note, let me show you the other 2. I've already done these, so there's that. You can see the craft is on the back. This one, however, has a tiny little border right around it, and I didn't want to cut it, so I did not round the corners on this one. The nice thing about these, even if you're not making a garden journal, for whatever purpose you're using it, is this side you can do your journaling, and then you can put your photograph on the other side. Let's turn that over and glue this. So now we have those 3 done. We have these little ovals, and I'm just going to leave these as is for now because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I've got this one circle. I've got another circle that I already used, and I'll show you where, besides the one on the cover. And there were a couple more circles that I didn't cut out. They had bugs on them, and I wasn't sure I wanted to use them. And then we have these 3 bookmarks, which I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with them. So there's those. Now I just wanted some extra sort of photo mat inserts. So I cut some cardstock. I think that's my kitty playing with a paper bag. 3.5 by 5. So I just cut a few of those, and from whatever scraps I had left, I'm going to go ahead and round these corners. I've been using the 1/4 inch throughout. I usually use the 1/2, but for some reason on this project I just felt like the 1/4 was a better choice. And then do the same. And the scraps varied somewhat in what I had left in size. So some of these I ended up trimming down because I didn't have a big enough piece of the pattern paper in my scraps. This one This one's like, I was trying to cut them 3 1/4 wide, but this one's actually just barely over 3 1/8 by 4 3/4, which is how big I wanted it. I was trying for 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, but just adjust as you need to, because now you're down at the end, and if you're only going to use one collection, which we have managed to do, you know, you've got to use what you got. And the reason I'm using these and not the craft cardstock, so I was trying to avoid cutting another piece of cardstock if I could help it. And most of these are neutral enough that they can be photo mats, or the photo can go on the back, just on the green. Or if you have plenty of cardstock and you want to go ahead and cut into it, by all means, just cut some craft for the back. Or just use craft on one side and don't use any pattern paper. Okay, there's that. I've got a whole stack of these to do, so I'm going to go ahead and glue these up, and then I'll be right back, okay? Okay, that's done. Now when we left off last time, we had only made one of these side pocket inserts. So just wanted to show you, you can see I staggered the tabs, and this was the one that we had made together. And then I made this one with just a little label on it. This one has the side band, and this one also has a side band, okay? I just wanted to see those finished. And now we have these small inserts that we just made. We have the larger cut-aparts that are matted. We have the cut-aparts that are not matted. And we have the small tags, all right? So I'm just going to start here at the front. And I think that this, I like this pink with this. So let's put this one in here. And let's use one of these as well. Let's see, I'm talking, I don't know if you can see me. I'm going to use one of these. It doesn't really matter. They're all pretty. So let's put that there. And then we also have these little ovals. And I'm really tempted to possibly put an oval there as a tuck spot. But we'll go back through and see about that after. Let's set those apart. We'll get back to that. So this we already did. If you remember, this is our little garden plan, goes there. Now we have this pocket. So let's put another one of the large ones in there. And maybe this one here, like that. And this is just a flip. So we could tuck something in there that would be held by the flip of the magnet. But this tulip is so pretty, I kind of don't want to hide it. So this is a large pocket, so we can fit. I'm saving this because I want to put this here. So let's stick that there so I don't forget. And we could put a couple of these photo mats in there. And remember, you want to leave room for journaling and pictures of the garden and all those other things that this book is meant to hold. I kind of like that. So I'm going to put a couple of those in there. And now we've got our little tags. And we can add some seam binding to these tags too if we want. So I'm going to put a couple in there. And then we'll put a couple in the belly band. Love that one. I'm tempted to put that one on the outside of the belly band. That would be pretty. I shall think about that. But let's put another pink one in, because that looks nice. And what we could do here is just tuck one under the magnet. Now these are too short to go in there. So this is where we're going to want some tuck spots, I think. So we still have quite a few pretty things to use. Let's back here. Maybe add another piece here. And add another one here. You can see why I said I wasn't going to make too many embellishments, because there's just so many already that we can use. I'm going to go back to this big envelope and tuck these in here, like that. Now, I want to show you here, because this is where we're going to have some room. Remember, we've got this big double flip, and we had this vellum pocket that we made, and I want to show you, I forgot to record when I was making this tag, but I will show you how I made it. What I did is I cut a piece of a rectangle of cardstock, 5 3/4 by 4. And my original intention had been to cut this frame and put something behind it, but I really didn't have enough left of any scrap that looked good. And this was a die. Let me see if I can find a die. This is a multi-part die. And you can see it's still got the craft stuck in it. Maybe I can push it out for you. Hang on. All right, well, I need to clean the whole thing. It's clearly going to take a while, but anyway. So that's the die. And then I used this and this. And don't worry if you don't have the same die. Just even if you just have an edge die, it'll be fine. But anyway, that's what I used. Okay, so I lose it. Okay. So what I ended up doing is I turned the frame that I had already cut on its side, and it was just about the width of the tag I had cut. And I traced around here and then cut along it. And then I just put the die slightly below that. And then I cut this piece out of just a scrap. So I put this piece down first. And again, I'm giving you measurements, but you probably will not have the same die as me. So, just either don't use a die, or you could just make it rounded to follow the circle. But I'll give you the measurements. 3 7/8 square. Rounded the bottoms. I put this piece down first, the 3 7/8 inch square. Then I laid the frame down up here, down a little bit from the top to leave a little edge. And then I just glued this circle on top. That's all I did for that. Okay? So that can go there. And then I'm pretty sure I want to put one of these ovals here as a tuck. And see, if I use this one, I could slit that and put something in it, but I'm not sure. I don't like the way it looks, really. See, if I put something down here, I'm going to lose this little bug, but I think I'm okay with that. I don't want to use this one because this butterfly's on the cover. Or we could use the circle, but I think the circle is too big. So that kind of leaves me with this one, which I like. And I think I'll just glue it from here to here, and then that will create a little tuck spot here. Okay, so let's do that. You don't have to put this perfectly straight up and down. You could always put it at an angle, but I like it like that. I think I want just a touch more glue here. Well, I don't think any glue actually came out. Getting to the end of this bottle, but spring is coming and I'll be able to replenish my glitter glue stock. I still have enough, but all right, so there's that. And then tuck a couple of these tags in here. This looks great. All right, so then let's see if we want to put anything over here. Now we could put this rounded one here. I like that. Okay. Did I ink that? I did. This one I'm gonna do the bottom and make it a top tuck. Like that. Okay, that looks nice. All right, what do I do with my little baby wipe? I've been using the same baby wipe since we started this album. It's getting all green from all the green cardstock. And let's see, what will we tuck in there? A couple more of these, I guess. Well, this was the one I was thinking of using somewhere else. Let me hang on to that. Let's put that and that. Okay. This and this, both of which you could put something, but do we want to? Paper is so pretty, I hate to just put something on top of it just because I have it. So I think we'll leave that. Now this, I would like to put something on. So we have this, which I was trying to decide what to do with, which is a favorite. Not there. And we also have these tags, not the tags. Don't like that. But I do like this. And I think, let's see, I could center it, but I don't think so. I like it up near the top. Okay, so we're going to glue this on there. When I glue this, you can see I'm staying a little bit away from the very top and the two sides because it does overhang just a little bit. Let's see if I can get that straight. I hope that's straight. I think it's straight. That's not bad. Okay, there's that. Now, let me pull this up. We have this, and that would fit there. We could slice that, but I don't think it could fit much in it if I did. But it could be a tuck spot here. Or we could open up and put a tuck spot on the inside here. But I sort of like the idea of leaving that for pictures. I like the way this one looks with that paper. Yep, let's do it. And again, I'm going to make this a bottom tuck, like that circle. Not too straight. Let's get that straight. Okay. And got the spider. We'll tuck him in there. Actually, I might put that one there too. That seems to be interfering with the magnet. All right, let's see. Can I put just one? Can put one. It interferes a little bit, but I think it's okay. All right, and we have this, and I was thinking that I might just attach this tag. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. We're having an emergency alert. So no worries. I'm assured it is only a test. Okay, just ink that. Let's see. I really like that. I like the idea of featuring it. Sometimes this belly band you know, the paper is not all that interesting. And I like putting things on the front of Billy Bands. I feel like I'm talking myself into it. I have. I've talked myself into it. Oh, can you hear those sirens? That's our test. I live not all that far from a nuclear power plant, so. I may need to add a little more glue to that. So I kind of guesstimated how much glue I was going to need. And let's see if I have enough glue here. No, I need to add some. There we go. And I still haven't added any seam binding to any of these tags, but I'm not really sure I need it. I'll think about it. I might go back through and add some. All right, so then we have here, we don't want to add anything there. Well, hang on, let me look this up. I'm going to remove that. If I put anything here, it's really going to interfere with that, so I think not. So let's put that back in. And let's see, we can just go ahead, I think, and tuck these last ones into the available spots that I have. I could put it in here. It's short, but it's tight, so I don't think it'll fall. Okay. Now, the last thing that we have not used are these bookmarks. I haven't even inked them because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them. I think I may need to trim them. They're very tall. But all of them have space at the bottom that they can be trimmed. All right, you know what, I'm going to trim these. They're definitely too tall. I'm going to trim these all down to 6 inches, because I don't really want them sticking out, because I already have tabs, I think. I'm going to just throw a couple of them in here and see. Yeah, I don't like them sticking out. Definitely not. Okay, so I'm going to cut these down to 6 inches. All right, I am back. I recorded a nice little segment to show you how to do those bookmarks, but I forgot to turn the camera on. I'm sorry, but I'm going to go through and show you what I did, and it's nothing too complicated. Go ahead. So here's one of them. And I just went ahead and used my crocodile, and you don't need one. You could just use a regular office hole punch, punched a hole and added a little piece of seam binding and tucked it in there. And then I did the second one here, and to match it I added to this tag another hole and piece of seam binding. And back here I did the same. Here's the last of the 3 bookmarks, and then I added there's 2 tags in here, but I only added seam binding to one, the green one. And then here at the end, I added seam binding to just one of these 3 tags, also the green one. So that's where I left off, and we're pretty much done. I was thinking about adding a little piece of seam binding to this coil, but then I thought it would interfere with the use of the pad, so I didn't. And then I closed the book, checked my bulldog clip, and I did have to shorten this ribbon slightly, which I did. I don't want it too tight, because as the book gets used, it's going to get fatter. So you can see, I hope. All right. So let's just do a final flip through. So here's our cover. And I was thinking of putting something here, but I never did. And then the back. And you know what, before we do our flip through, hang on. I want to show you. I've got a mess over here. All right, I want to show you what I've got left. And we managed to make this book with just the one collection. So, and I think you could even do it easier than what I did if you just use a little bit more of the craft cardstock or instead of the pattern paper. All right, so that's what I have left. All these little bits, a couple of bigger pieces. And I did not care for that bug, so didn't use it. Same with that one. Although this one I kind of is green, it's not so bad. I like that one a little bit. I may find a home for that, but. And then I've got this piece from the back cover, and these little bits, and that is it. That is all I have left from one collection. All right. All right, now let's take a look at our book. Again, we've kept the covers very simple. It's meant to be a working book, so I didn't add any flowers at all to this book. It's just the paper. All right, and of course, paper and seam lining. So we have our secretarial pocket, got a bunch of stuff in it, our little 2 little tags in our tuck spot. I'll do a full walkthrough of this album for the intro to this video series where we pull all these tags and things out, but you saw them as I was putting them in. And then we have our double flip with our fancy tag here. And I thought about adding seam binding to it, and I still might, but I just feel like there's a lot going on here already without punching a hole in it. And then we have our round tuck spot with 2 tags. And again, I did not add seam binding to these because this has to close. And then there's our little side pocket insert. And this is our double flip with the place to put your garden layout, your design. And you could map this piece if you wanted, or just use this instead of that. We talked about that when we did this page. So there's that. And then we have our big pocket, and it's stuffed full of all kinds of inserts and tags, and another side pocket insert. And here's our waterfall, which just has craft on the back, all of those. And this is our flap that has this little tuck spot here. Another side pocket insert. The accordion pocket, and we stuffed that full of all kinds of things. And the belly band, which also is jam-packed full of things. And I didn't put a stop down here. I don't think it needs it. It's got so many things in it. The final side pocket insert. And again, sometimes you get a fuss with these because it catches a little on those bands. And the final little pocket on the back. And then our all-weather notebook to take out into the garden, which you can just remove like that. And finally, our patchwork back. So that's that. This has been, for me, a fun project, and I hope it's been a fun project for you. I'd love to see your versions. So you can always reach out to me at Scrapworkers of Country Craft Creations website. I'm on the Facebook page there all the time because I am on the, besides the fact that I like it and I always hang out there, I am on the design team there. And I have my own the Quiet Cat Paper Co. Facebook. So Instagram also. I'm trying to think where I'm at. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching this series. I've had so much fun with it. This paper is just beautiful. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. So just hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next series, which is going to be a design team project for Country Craft Creations, and the paper is so pretty. I know we're going to have fun with that too. And please feel free to comment down below if you have any questions or comments. I'll be happy to help you out if I can. And I will see you next time. Thank you again. Bye-bye.